Protesters facing off against federal agents in Minneapolis today following another shooting involving a federal agent. Demonstrators gathering outside a federal building as President Trump is threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act and use U.S. military troops to intervene there. The White House today blamed Democrats, including Minnesota's governor, for the unrest.
And I would encourage Governor Walz and other Democrats who are demeaning law enforcement to sit down and have a cup of coffee with an ICE agent or a Border Patrol agent. These are great, patriotic men and women who have families, who put on the uniform every day and are following our nation's immigration laws.
For more on this, I want to bring in Skye Perryman. She's the president and CEO of Democracy Forward. Skye, thank you so much for your time. But the president, as we pointed out, has said that he's threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act to suppress protesters there in Minneapolis. First, I want to get your response to that.
Well, look, I mean, this should concern every single American. But what we need to remember is this president makes threats. Sometimes he follows through, sometimes he does not. But any invocation of the Insurrection Act would be improper. It would be unlawful. You've seen this president just in the last few weeks have to pull the National Guard that he already tried to deploy unlawfully in cities across the country back because the courts issued orders saying that he could not have the National Guard deploy the National Guard. So I think that, what he's saying here is really on a collision course with the law and with the Constitution.
Well, with that in mind, is that something, if he were to act on that, is it something you think you would legally challenge in court?
I think you will see. Legal challenges. I mean, obviously, the state of Minnesota itself has a wonderful state attorney general. You have civil society organizations as well as cities and municipalities, but there is just no legal basis for what the president is doing. What's important for all Americans to understand is that the violence that we have seen in Minneapolis has been instituted by federal agents on the people, and so the president is really seeking at this point, it appears, to turn these things on their head and to create a crisis in order to be able to then try to justify a crackdown. None of that is lawful, and I think you would see swift legal challenges.
Well, and listen, I mean, you've brought up hundreds of cases against this current administration. You just referenced Minnesota's Attorney General, Keith Ellison. I'm curious right now, I mean, are you preparing any legal action in Minnesota right now?
Yeah, I think what we want everybody to know is that nothing can trump the Constitution in this country. People have the ability to peacefully protest, to use their voices. They have the rights to due process. And you're going to see lawyers in Minnesota and across the country do everything we can to support the constitutional rights of the people. And if this president invokes the Insurrection Act, it would be unlawful. And I think you would see those legal challenges.
All right, Skye Perryman, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.